Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to read Class 7 SST Geography Part uh, Chapter number 4 External Processes and Changing Landforms Part 1. Now, in this chapter, we have to read about how the different formation of the landforms occurs and what they have formed. Means we have to read in this chapter how the landform it is being formed with the help of water, with the help of ice, with the help of wind, and many others. So in this chapter we have to read the formation of different landforms with the help of these things. First of all, we have to know that what is gradation. So gradation is what? Gradation is the leveling of the earth surface. Means that the different shapes you can see in your surroundings, that different shapes or landforms it is being formed by the gradation. Means the river, the groundwater, the other things that you have seen, it is because of the gradation. So gradation it is not only the changes, like it is it can be the decrease of the land and it can be the increase of the land. Means that the gradation help to sometimes it forms the any land and sometimes it help to change that landforms. So which are the agents, basically which are the agents which help in the gradation, means the changing of the earth surface or the leveling of the earth surface, which are the agents that helps the in the gradation. So they are the like rivers, groundwaters, wind, glaciers, and sea waves. So these are the basically agents which help in the gradation. So as I told you that the gradation is the changing of the earth surface, the changing of the landform, basically it can be increase or in form or the decrease form. So the gradation, the increase of something, that is aggradation, and decrease of something, that is the degradation. So aggradation means the process that involves the formation of various land surfaces through the deposition and accumulation of rock fragments, sand, and aluminium. Means that whatever the deposition on the earth surface and the formation of something new, that is known as aggradation. And when there is change, when there is erosion or something, the weathering process is there, that forms the degradation. Means something get removed, that is the degradation, and something get made through that degradation, it is known as aggradation. Increase and decrease of some land features. Okay, now so we have to read in this chapter aggradation as well as degradation both. Means how the different landforms get formed and how the different landforms get eroded. Both things we have to read in this chapter. Now first of all, we have to see the agents of gradation. Means who are which are the things which helps in the gradation of something. So first of all, the gradation, that helps in the gradation, that is a weathering. So what is weathering basically? So weathering, it is the gradual process which rocks break up into soil. Means the soil get breaks, the rocks, whatever the rocks is there, when it get breaks and it forms in the soil, sand, or sometimes it formed in the tiny pieces or small pieces due to the atmospheric conditions. So that is known as the weathering. Means the breaking of something when something is broke, or basically the rock is get broke, and it changes into different shapes, and it take the new forms, whether it is it becomes soil, whether it becomes sand, or whether it becomes in the small pieces. That process is known as the weathering. Means basically the form of changes from the bigger rocks to the small particles. So weathering is not alone. The weathering is also of three type, that is the physical, chemical, and biological. So we have to read all those things in this video only. First of all is there the physical weathering. So physical changes, that is also known as mechanical changes. So it occurs due to the changes in temperature and the action of the frost. Means the reason here, the weathering of the physical weathering is the ice basically. So as you can see in the picture that I have put in the slide, there you can see number one rock is there. That rock contains a small crack in it. So due to some reason, the rain or the some reason, the water get collected in that crack. So when the water get freezes because of temperature, when water get freezes, this helps that crack to expand. There you can see in the picture number 2, the crack which you have seen in the picture number 1, the rock 1, that is smaller, but when the water get collect and it get freezes, so that freezes water or the ice which is being present in that crack, it increase the crack in the rocks. There you can see in the rock number 2. Now again, when temperature get increase, the water get again, it change its form. Again when temperature get decrease, the water change into the ice. So this led to the crack, it becomes bigger than the earlier one. Also this helped to make the crack bigger than the earlier one. The freezing and the melting of the water, it creates the crack bigger and bigger. And there you can see in the third rock, the ice, the water that is there in between the crack, it creates a large crack in the rock. And in the fourth rock, there you can see this repeated action is create the bifurcation or the crack of the rock, and the rock get split. Means it is get divided because of that water that is collected into the small crack. So this change or this changing of is known as the physical weathering. This change you have seen in the picture, that is known as the physical weathering or the mechanical weathering. So whenever the rock get broke because of the physical weathering, it changes into the bigger rocks get changes into the smaller rocks. Now you are able to understand, when water get freezes and it's get defreeze, means it changes into water because of the temperature. So that led to the cracks bigger, and after this repetition of these things led to the split of the rocks. Now next is the chemical weathering. Chemical weathering is what you might have heard about the acidic rainwater. Means the acidic rainwater is what the rainwater consists acidic. The rainwater is in the acidic form or in the acidic nature, that also erodes the different rocks. So there you can see in the picture, in the picture of the chemical weathering, there you can see there is hard rock, the dark brown part you can see, and there is a regolith as light brown part. So what is regolith? Regolith is it's a kind of soil, or you can say the small particles of the rocks in the softer it's kind of soft rock, you can say. It's a soil, you can say. So there you can see in the picture, hard rock is still there, but regolith is, it is being eroded because of the acidic or acid rain. Means when the acid rain occurs, during that time the hard rock will still remain, but the regolith get started erosion. So because of that, there you can see, when the whole regolith get removed from that particular rock, only the hard rock which is left, that you can see. So this is the chemical weathering. Okay, after some time, the regolith, when finally the regolith gets removed from the hard rock, there you can see the different small hard rocks are there. You can see it might be get split after some time. So it the final, you can see the result is that one time before some time it was a full rock, but after rainwater, this acidic rainwater, when regolith get removed or eroded, that all rocks, the bigger rocks, is converted into the smaller rocks, or there you can see, and it gets split after some time. So this is the chemical weathering. Now next one is biological weathering. So biological weathering is what? It is just, you can see sometimes in the rocks some small plants get started growing. Some trees, the seedling of the trees started growing in the cracks of the rock. So when the root started expanding in through the cracks, the root started making the gap or the cracks bigger and bigger, and after some time the roots make the rock split in the three part, or whatever wherever the roots grows in between the rocks. So this is the biological weathering. Yes, human is also responsible for biological weathering, like when we need the different rocks, we use granite and other bombing material which help us to break the rocks. Or animals is also there, they used to make the burrows in the rocks. So these are the activities are considered at the biological weathering. So there is three type of weathering we have read in this topic. First one is the mechanical weathering or physical weathering, the another one is chemical weathering, and the last one is the biological weathering. So in the physical weathering, I had explained, in the crack of rocks, there you can see when water get collected and started because of temperature, when water get freezes, so the crack started increasing. When it again it defreezes, means it converted into water, the cracks begin start, means this all led to the formation of the cracks bigger, and after some time the repetition of the activity led to the creation of the split of the rocks, and that create the bigger rock into the smaller rocks. And the another I told you that the chemical weathering, where the hard rock and regolith is there. So regolith get eroded with the help of the chemical or the acidic rain, and only the hard rocks is left, and it also gets splitted after some time. And biological weathering, I'd explain, the roots or the roots of the plant or the animal started burrowing, or the human started bombing the rocks for their personal uses. That all creates the biological weathering. So there you can see in the weathering process, something is get destructed and something is get constructed. So what is destructed? The bigger rocks started destructed, and the smaller particles or the smaller rocks get formed, and these smaller rocks get formed after some time. It creates the new layer of the earth surface. Means one landform is get eroded or it get destructed, and another landform is being created with the help of the weathering. This is the weathering we have to read. Now there is one more thing apart from the weathering, that is the erosion. So erosion, you might have heard or read in the previous classes that erosion is what? The erosion is the wearing away of the land surface, wearing away of the land surface by the help of the running water, moving ice, wind, action of waves, that is known as the erosion. There you can see in the picture there is a rock there, you can see, and when rain is there, or you can see when wind moves or the water surface, the water moves, so it wear away the things which is present on that particular area. There you can see in the picture the rocks is still the weathering causes the rocks into breakdown. Okay, the weathering I had explained. What the weathering do, it create the smaller rocks from the bigger rocks. And erosion, with the help of water and other agents, the rocks started moving from that particular area to the another area, that is the erosion. So weathering and erosion are the things which help us to create the new different landforms. Means it create the destruction of something. And okay, what about the things? Means when weathering happens and erosion happens, afterward, means there you can see the bigger rocks converted into smaller rocks. Erosion help the smaller rocks to move apart from that particular area. So after moving all those rocks, or after moving all those things, what happened? There is deposition. Means that whatever it is being created by weathering or erosion, that is started depositing in a particular area. Means it gets deposited in particular area. Okay, now you can see in the picture there is boulders. Boulders are big, it's a kind of big rocks, and then cobbles, pebbles, sand, silt, clay. This is the different size of the rocks. Make sure we'll read in the next topics also. When the weathering or weathering procedure is there, so bigger rocks converted into smaller rocks, and river, wind, and other agents help to create these other kind of rocks like cobbles, pebbles, sand, silt, and clay. So what are that? They are the part of a rock, but with the help of erosion procedure, with the help of weathering procedure, it converted into different shapes and size. Means it has it is you might have been noticed the sand. If you put sand in your hand, takes some smaller part of quantity of sand in your hand, there you can see small particles are there in sand. That small particles there you can see a formation of that is formed from the bigger rocks because of the weathering procedure. So whatever is being eroded or weathered, or means with the weathering procedure, that get deposited somewhere, and that deposition forms the new landforms. Clear to all? When the all rocks which is being eroded by the weathering procedure or erosion procedure, that all things are getting deposited in a particular area, that is the deposition. Now in the next topic we have to read the water that helps to form in the different landforms. So water is what? River. Basically we have to read the different riverine landform which is being formed by the rivers. So first of all we have to you know very well, the rivers are almost originated from the mountainous region. Okay, when the glaciers melting, and after melting of glaciers, the river started from there, and it comes to the plain areas, and it goes to the meet to the ocean. So these all things we have to read in this particular topic. First of all we have to know where the rivers come from. Means the place where river originate, the place where river get birth, means it started basically, that place is known as the upper course. So basically it is in the mountainous region. Okay, the river get originated from the mountainous region, from the glaciers itself. Sometimes the glaciers started melting and it forms a river. So here the in the upper course of the river, means the place where it originate, it only work as a eroded material. Means that river only eroded the rocks. Means if you if you suppose if I ask you to put a little amount of soil at a particular place and make it as a mountain, give it a shape in the mountain, and just flow water from there. So there you can see, when you flow the water take away the water wears away the soil which comes it into the contact. The waters wears away the soil when it comes into the contact of that particular area. So this shows that the source of river, where the river originate, that created the erosion of the rocks, means it eroded the rocks. Now the next is middle course. So when the river leaves its the upper course or the origin source, it enters into the low lying areas or the plains. Low lying area means there you can see in the picture the middle course there, from the highland to the plain areas. So these particular area is considered as the middle course of the river. Means there the rivers do two types of work. First it eroded, and second one is it transported, and sometimes deposition also. So make sure that the river in its upper course, its work is only erosion, and when it comes to the middle course, its work only of the its works as erosion as well as transportation and sometimes deposition. Means whatever it brought, it has been brought by the river from the upper course, it is been eroded, it is been deposited in the banks of the river of the plain areas. Clear? And also whatever the part which is whatever the silt or grey which is not get deposited in the bank of the river in the middle course, that all things it is been carried out, means it is been transported by the rivers in the lower course of the rivers. There you can see the lower land or the low course. So this lower course is what? This is the place where only deposition works occurs. Only the deposition works occur. Means there you can see the picture also, when the rivers comes to the lowland, means where the place the different silt or sediments that is brought by the river, it is being deposited in those areas. Now you can see the mouth is what? The place where river reaches and it's come into the end, means the place where river ends and it's joined to the ocean or seas, that is known as the mouth of the river. So as you have seen that in the upper course the river only work as a erosion work, it do only erosion, and in the middle course it also eroded, it transported and deposited. In the lower course it only deposited and transport, but in the mouth it only deposited the materials which is being brought by the rivers from the upper course as well as in the middle course. So what are the things that it brought by the rivers? That they are the rivers that is brought by the rivers, that is known as sediments. The things which is brought by the rivers, that is known as the sediment. So sediments is in the form of small pebbles, small rocks, and it helps in the formation of the sediments. So in this video we have to read also all these different courses that is being formed by the rivers. Now first of all we have to see the upper course of the river. So the upper course of the river is being formed, means the when the river comes from the its origin, it forms the valley. So you might have read in your previous classes what is valley. The place between the two hills or the mountains, that is known as the valley. So the low area between the hills or mountains, it and sometimes the rivers is running through it. So that area is known as valley. So valley is formed by the valley is present in the upper course of the river. Okay, so valley, we have to read the other types of the valleys of the in the upper course of the river, that is the canyon and the gorges. So what is canyon? So it is also valley, and what is gorges? It is also valley. The different in the canyon and valleys, gorges is the canyon is a deep and wide. It is deep as well as wide, but in the gorges it is also deep, but it is narrow. There you can see in the picture of the first picture is belongs to the canyon, and it is a picture of uh, this is picture of Grand Canyon, Arizona, and the another one is gorges, that is formed in the Nepal Kali Gandaki river. So this is formed by the different uh, this is the different landforms which is formed by the river in its upper course. The different this the canyon is also valley, canyon and gorge is also valley, but there is different is that the canyon is the deep and wide, and gorges is deep and the narrow. Clear? And in like I explained in the valley also, the valley where the place where two hills and between the two hills and mountains and river running through it, there in the canyon also, there you can see the river is running through it. Okay, canyon always or mostly it is found in the arid areas, means in the dry areas or the semi-arid areas, and gorges being found in the semi-arid or the in the plain areas, means sorry, in the normal areas. Now the next formation of the uh, waterfall in its the next formation of the landforms in the upper course of river is the waterfall. So you might have seen in the different pictures or in the different movies or from the different sources waterfalls. So waterfall is what? It is a vertical drop of water from the upper surface to the lower surface. That is a waterfall. You might have seen in different pictures. There is also a picture of waterfall. Okay. Now there you can see in the picture that I have put in the slide, there is hard rock and soft rock. Okay. So which rock can eroded the earlier, hard rock or the soft rock? Yes, the answer is the soft rock. Soft rock will get eroded earlier than the hard rock. So there you can see, okay, the rocks, the layers of the earth is consist of the different, like sometimes it's soft rock, sometimes it's hard rock, that I had explained in the previous chapters of the geography. So there you can see in the picture, somewhere the hard rock is present and the soft rock is present. So when the water goes through it from the height, from particular from the upper course of the river, so water, what is the work of water there? It started eroding the soft rock. It started eroding the soft rock. There you can see the picture, the the water source, basically the water source started eroding the softer rock from the downside. And after some time, when this erosion took place of from the numerous years, or the from the continuous years, so the softer rocks get fully eroded, and the water started coming with the force and started falling vertical from its top of the rock. so it create the waterfall. Means the erosion of the softer rock, and their hard rock still remains, and the soft rock started eroding, and that led to the formation of the waterfalls in the upper course of the river. So let me recall you once again in the upper course of the river. So in the upper course of the river, valley has been formed. Valley is what? It is the place where the between the two hills or mountains, and a river running through it. Canyon and gorges, it is also kind of valley, but canyon is a deep and wide. Wide means it's wide, it means the its breadth is more than the another one. So the canyon is deep and wide. It is formed mostly in the arid areas or semi arid areas, and it is contains a river through it. The river flows through it. And gorges is also, it is also narrow, deep but narrow from the canyon, and it also contains, the river run through it. And another things we have read in this the formation in the upper course, that is the waterfall, where hard rock and soft rock is there, and soft rock get eroded by the water, and it took place of the soft rock, and that creates the water to be fall from the vertical from the top of that particular rock, and that creates the waterfall. Now the most important thing that we have to read in the course of the river, that is the middle course of the river. So in the middle course of the river, it forms different things that you can see in the picture. It forms the floodplain, it's formed the oxbow lake, it's formed the meanders. There are various things which is being formed in the middle course of the river. So in the middle course, we have to read about first of all, that is the meanders. As you can see, the meanders is a loop like structure. So loop is what? It's a snake like structure. That movement you can see, the river is moving like a snake, that is known as meanders. Now you can see the oxbow lake in the picture. So oxbow lake is what? It was meander previously, means it was meander previously, but after the time passed, it converted into the oxbow lake. How it is possible? It is because of the change of the course of the river. Due to time, the river changes its course, means the way it flows, that after some time it changes its way of flow, means flow basically, means now the river is flowing like that. It might be changed after some time. So in the previously, the oxbow lake it was a part of the main river, but after the change of its course, it gets separated. Okay, so you know very well the river also eroded the particular where it flows. It eroded the place or the land basically. So the meanders which was eroded by the river, the land which is eroded by the river, that converted into the lakes, means that gap, that was the part of river in the form of meander, and the change of the river course, it gets separated when it rains or the river get flooded. So in that situation, these oxbow lakes get filled water, and it forms as a oxbow lake. So oxbow lake is a what? It was a meander, but after changing its course, it converted into the oxbow lake. So why it is considered as oxbow lake? It is just because the shape of the ox and the horse, their foot, you can observe the feet of the horse and the ox. It's similar to that. It is similar to that. That is why it is considered as the oxbow lake. So oxbow lake was the part of the river previously as a meanders. Now The other formation during the middle course of the river is the river cliff or the cut banks. Now you can see in the picture, the browner part is the erosion, and the light blue part with the dotted light blue part is known as the deposition. So the arrow which you are seeing in the in this blue part, it shows the flow of the river. So sometimes river eroded the material, and that eroded materials were get deposited. Okay, that eroded material is get deposited. Look clearly, you can look at the picture. So brown part is get eroded by river, and whatever it is eroded by river, it get deposited into the next side, that is the that you can see in the dotted blue part. So this is the river cliff or the river bank. So this is the formation of the new banks or the new river cliff during that time. So whatever it is get deposited from that erosion, it forms the river cliff. Clear to all? Now next we have to read about the low course and the mouth of the river in the next video. So in this topic, you have to do is that you have to write the whole procedure of the river that started from the its origin up to the middle course. Means you have to write what are the things that is formed during the upper course and what are the things that is formed during the middle course of the river. That all you have to write in your copy. This is your homework. Thank you. That's all for the today.